Alrighty, it's week 1, year 12, Money League. I gotta say, I got butterflies. I'm a little nervous for this video. It's going up a little bit early, but the baby could come any second now, already 4 days overdue. And if I don't get it up now, I'm gonna be hearing from the league, all our followers about where's the video, but I don't want to disappoint, especially week 1. Joey shuffles McGee from the draft. He's the returning champion. It makes me sick to my stomach, but he's the guy, top of the hill, king of the hill. We got to knock him down. I got to get my first one this year. I'm feeling confident. A little bit of a draft recap. Couple of shockers. McCoy number 1 over Arian Foster. Arian Foster didn't go till number 4. Cam went at number 10. McFadden can be seen as a shocker going to me at number 8. But overall, you get the top 3 running backs, the top 3 quarterbacks going in the top 6, Calvin, and then the rest kind of fell as where they were. Shmoo definitely picked about 10 running backs in a row. But I'm not going to lie, Shmoo, looking on paper, you got a pretty solid squad. And you'll see in my MFK, my world-famous MFK segment, I got you in there somewhere. First, I want to send out a very special birthday to Vanessa. Vanessa, I know you're in State College over in Pennsylvania, opener against Ohio University. I think it's at home, trying to pull those pieces back together within Penn State. But happy birthday, September 1st. And Skylar, shout out to you as well. I know the leagues over there, they love the Money League videos, and we're going to keep them going. We're going to rock them out today. First, got to get to it. Deadbeats section. Segment number 1, deadbeats. Come on, man. 12 years. Igor, I understand you drafted him from afar. I know you got a check in the mail, but you're on the list. Clint, you always come to the draft. Where's your money? And Shaw, I'm not even going to really get into it, but come on, man. Come on, man. Pay up. Let's get it going. Segment 2, MFK. Marry, fuck, kill. Just a quick reminder, marrying is a team I love, that I would like to have all the way through the season. Fuck is a team that I think has a lot of good potential. Some big names, sexy names, especially now in the preseason rankings. And then my kill is a team that I'm just like, I can either hate your team or I don't like you as an owner. It's too early in the season to see who I really hate this year as an owner, so it's going to be based on team. Marry, it's my team. Come on, Darren McFadden, he's explosive, he's a beast. Ryan Matthews, once he comes back in week 2, forget it. The 2 number 1 running backs. Jordy, Percy Harvin. White chocolate, Jordy Nelson and Percy Harvin. And then Matty Ice pulling the trigger. He's a beast. Not to mention I got Torrey Smith, sleeper number 1 in wide receiver. I'm sure he'll be a number 1 receiver by week 3 when people are going to come to me begging for him. He's on my bench just sitting there waiting on the sidelines. Tight end a little shaky, but we'll see. The rest, it's unquestionable how good my team is. The fuck, I'm going to go with Shmoo on this one. Shmoo, CJ2K, expecting to have a big bounce back year. You got Phillip Rivers, another one who had a great year last year, the year before, even though the numbers were off a little bit last year. Expecting to blow up again. Julio Jones, this guy skyrocketed up to number 2 in wide receiver preseason ranks. Greg Jennings, Aaron Hernandez. Your number 2 running back's a little suspect, but that's a pretty solid squad right there for you. And I had a couple of teams that I was picking here, but I'm gonna go with Igor because he took the most chances in the draft. Maurice Jones-Drew still holding out. He's your number 1 running back. He's not there. Yes, you got Rashard Jennings, but Stephen Ridley's your number 2. Unless the Patriots all of a sudden become a ground and pound team, I just don't see it. Could be all right. Probably not, though. He'll be an all right player for the Patriots, not fantasy-wise. Maybe 1 or 2 good games. Of course, you got Calvin Johnson and Hakeem Nicks. Those are solid guys. Calvin Johnson's all-world wide receiver. Nicks coming off the foot injury, though. You never know how he's going to perform at the beginning of the year if that thing flares up. Eli Manning, I'm just as great as he was last year, and he beats the Patriots in Super Bowls, and it rips our hearts out here in New England, but just not seeing it this year. I don't know if he's going to throw for 5,000 again. I just don't see it. But I'm putting you on my kill list, Igor. Now we're on the boom and bust. It's going to be a quick segment. Who do I think is going to blow up week 1? Who do I think is not going to blow up in week 1? Matty Ice is blowing up. He's a boom. He's got KC. He's going to torch him with those weapons. Number 2, I'm going with Dougie Martin. I think that rookie's going to go nuts off of Carolina in week 1. And then I'm going with Andre 3000. Back, better than ever, I think, this year. Matt Schaub slanging it to him. They're both healthy, and he's going against Miami, who just traded their number 1 cornerback and is pretty much trading their whole team. They're in disarray. Andre 3000 goes bananas. my bus. I'm not buying Forte this year. I don't care if he's going against Indy. I don't think he's going to be anywhere close to what he was before he got hurt last year. Chatty, Isaac Redmond, guy's injured. He's your number 2 running back. He's going against Denver. Not a fan. And then Steve Smith, Carolina. Dude's on crutches still. Even if he plays against Tampa Bay, I just don't think Steve Smith's going to be anywhere near what he was last year. I think a couple other people are going to steal some things from him. LaFell, and you got Greg Olsen by himself. He's a beast. You know, the running backs over there. I just don't think Steve Smith's got it in him again this year. So that's my boom and bust for you out there. And then finally, my last segment. It's a new one. Boop, boop, boop. Shake and bake, baby. The shake and bake segment's going to be one player, someone a little bit off the map, a little bit off the radar, who I think has the skills to be explosive and put up some monster numbers based on the matchup and based on their explosiveness. Week 1 against Cleveland, D-Jax. He's coming off the heels of a new contract. He already said he wasn't fully into it last year. I think he goes off week 1. Maybe only 3 to 4 catches, but a $120 touchdown, maybe 2. He's going off. No doubt about it. D-Jax is my shake and bake special. You better get going, get that chicken in there. Boom. Get D-Jax in the starting lineup. All right, now we're on to the week 1 games. Obviously, we don't know which teams have the best defenses. I'm going a little bit based off of last year, but a lot of it based off of the talent on people's teams. Matchup number 1, Clinton versus Igor. Both in the playoffs last year. Both look to have pretty solid squads this year. I'm going against quarterbacks. You got Eli Manning for Igor, Cam Newton for Clint. Got to go with the edge with Cam Newton here. Cam Newton runs it, throws it, beats people, 260, 6'4", 250, 260. The guy is a monster. Running backs, as I said, Stephen Ridley, Rashard Jennings, Igor, not feeling it, especially week 1. Marshawn Lynch is a beast. I don't care about the back. He's definitely playing. Trent Richardson maybe plays, maybe doesn't play. Clint's got a backup in there he can toss in. I'm going running backs edge over to Clint. Wide receivers, though, obviously goes over to you, Igor. It's not as big as I thought. A.J. Green's a good player. You know, Stevie Johnson, I think, is going to have a good year. But Calvin Nix, way too good. Not to mention, you know, Calvin just probably going for a $150, 2 touchdowns week 1. But Nix getting back in the flow of it, just coming off of the pup. I'm going with Clint in week 1 here. Slight edge to Clint, so Clint gets my nod. Matchup number 2, Mikey versus Joel. Very good matchup here. Quarterbacks, A-Rod for Mikey, Tom Brady, TB12 for Joel. I'm going to go with a wash on that one. I think the big advantage in this one is going to be the running backs. I think Fred Jackson has a big year for Mikey. Michael Turner's not going to be as bad as everyone seems to think he's going to be. He's a beast. Then you got DeMarco Murray on Joel's side. And other than that, Sedben? Anyways, big advantage on the running backs over to Mikey. Wide receivers a little tight. You got Decker, and you got Bo on Mikey's side. This is a big difference for you, Mikey. This is completely out of your norm. You don't typically wait for wide receivers. You waited. You got a couple of decent receivers, but they're not no-brainers for you. You'll be on the trade market pretty quickly, I'll tell you that. But Roddy White, Steve Smith, I already don't think Steve Smith's going to be that great this year, but Roddy White, I think he's going to be just as good as last year, maybe even more so. 2010 Roddy. He's a beast. I'm giving the advantage over to you, Joel. Tight ends are a wash. Neither of you have anyone of real significance. Jason Witten's not going to be playing for you, Mikey. Sorry. I don't care how excited you thought you were about it. Tammy's not that great. He drops balls all over the place, Joel. So I'm going with Mikey in a squeaker. This is tight. This could be like a 20-point game. Mikey gets the W in week 1. Matchup number 3, the Forge versus Cuba. The Forge and Cuba, the big advantage here out of all the positions is quarterback. Cuba's got Matt Stafford. The Forge's got Cutler. Could he blow up? Maybe. Could he suck? Yeah, because that's what he typically is. He sucks. But he's got Marshall back. But I'm going big advantage Stafford here. But I also think the big advantage at running back goes over to Greg. He's got LaShawn McCoy. I hate Sean Green in general, but he never performs what they say, but I think this year he's going to be having a good year, especially with Tony Sperano running the ball. Jamal Charles, D-Mart, I already think D-Mart's going to blow up, but they're talking about a 50-50 split for Charles and Peyton Hillis. That could be a big hit for your second-round pick, Cuba. We'll see. I'm giving the edge over to Forge on the running backs and giving it big. Wide receivers, I'm giving that big as well. Andre 3000, Marcus Colston versus Brandon Marshall. who's, I don't know, the guy's a lunatic. He's probably going to beat up some broad down the bar tomorrow, get suspended. And Titus Young is your number 2, so you kind of slept on a tight end there. On your second receiver there. I don't know what happened in that little area, but that's what happened. You have Titus Young as your number 2 receiver. We'll see. What tight end Gronk for DeForge, Gates for Kuba, good matchup. I'm going Gronk. Of course we're going Gronk. DeForge gets the win here. JJ and Shmoo, the next matchup on my list. Big Ben versus Phillip Rivers. Big Ben for Justin, Phillip Rivers for Shmoo. I'm giving Phillip Rivers the edge, obviously. CJ, 2K, and McGahee's a good matchup for you, Shmoo. They got good running backs, good matchups, but I like Justin's running backs here. I really do. Arian Foster at number 4, that's bananas. SJ39 in the second round, Steven Jackson, another bananas pick. Strong first 2 rounds. Obviously, you had to take the hit on the quarterback there, but I think Big Ben's serviceable. Had him last year. He kills you, but he also helps you in some weeks. I'm going big advantage running backs. Wide receivers, Julio, Greg Jennings got to go over to Shmoo. I know you got Welker. And I know you got Demaryius Thomas, who you love, but I'm going with Julio Jones, Greg Jennings. Finley versus Hernandez, I think that's a wash. Hernandez over the edge of Shmoo. Jermichael Finley over to JJ. I don't think he's going to be half as bad as he was last year. I think he's going to be better than last year. So I'm going with a wash there. But I think the big difference is Arian Foster going bananas in week 1. JJ gets the edge here. And now we're on to our 2 game pick segments. Number 1. Blowout of the week, baby. That's Clint versus Igor. Igor's team's in my kill. So obviously, Clint's going to kick the shit out of Igor's team this week. Smithereens, baby. Cam Newton versus Eli, I'm going Cam. Lynch and T-Rich versus Ridley and Jennings, give it over to Clint. Although Calvin and Keem Nicks go over to Igor's side, AJ, Stevie Johnson, I don't think are that big of a mismatch compared to those two, especially Nicks coming off of the injury. I think tight ends are a wash, but I just think the rest of the teams, the running backs, the quarterback, I think it just makes for a big blowout. I think this is a 200-point win for Clint. And again, it's not that big of a gap. I think every team has some good pieces. I think every team could be solid this year. But in this week 1, until we see how people perform, I'm picking Igor to get the shit kicked out of him. And then in the last segment, game of the week, me versus Chad. I hate Chad in fantasy. Chad hates me in fantasy. This is game of the week 1. Romo versus Matty Ice. I got Matty Ice, he's got Romo. Romo's got injuries galore. Des Bryant's beating up his mother. Witten's spleen's exploding. Matty Ice only has a ton of weapons. Advantage me. Running backs, DMC. Yes, Ryan Matthews out week 1, but Beanie Wells. Step right on up, buddy. Boom. Versus Ray, who I love. I love Ray Rice, you know that. And then Isaac Redmond. Ugh, Isaac Redmond. That evens that out. That gives me the edge there. Boom. Running backs to me. Wide receivers, Larry Fitz and VJax. Very, very good matchups for you there. Very good combo wide receivers. VJax, though, is boom or bust. And I don't know what's going to happen with Freeman. I don't know how it's going to happen in Tampa Bay. He's not even close to as good as Phillip Rivers, so we'll see. And then you get Jordy, White Chocolate Nelson, Percy Harvin. Advantage me. Tight end, obviously, you got Jimmy Graham. That's a huge advantage to you. I get Greg Olsen, so that goes to you. But the rest is just, it's easy. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. This should be blowout of the week, but I'm going game of the week. I kicked the shit out of Chad. Boom. So here's the matchups. You got Clint beating Igor, Mikey beating Joel, DeForge beating Kuba, JJ beating Shmoo, Joey beating Shaw in the blowout of the week, Clint over Igor, and in the game of the week, it's myself beating Chad. Have a great week 1, great Labor Day weekend. Peace.